Okay, y'all, we are back. We are going to just show you all. This is the donate button, the buy now button, and the GoFundMe. Welcome to everybody that's first time visitor. And welcome back to everybody else. We're in this William Cooper. The Act establishes a requirement to record and rectify the ID of a purchaser of a money order or other financial instrument of $3,000 or more. Section 6184/5325. Why? This is a big one. The Act orders a study to be made on whether to withdraw 100 bills and $100 bills and $50 bills from circulation. Section 6187. This would virtually propel us into a cashless society. $23 million has been allocated for a machine-readable identity document program. The excuse used is to be able to identify known criminals who attempt to cross borders. The type of border is not named, required in legislation, and could be the border of your city, county, or state. It also raises the question of how they are going to get the criminals to accept the identity document program without requiring all citizens to participate. Section 6604. This data pool will be shared by Drug Enforcement Administration, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Federal Aviation Commission, U.S. Marshals Service, U.S. Coast Guard. The Act requires a study of the feasibility of requiring aircraft to carry operating transponders so that they can be tracked. Section 7212, including the intercept, the use of military aircraft is assumed due to the fact that the military is the only agency which has such a capability of any aircraft not in proper flight corridor. Section 7213. The Act requires a study to be made on requiring onboard monitoring devices on commercial motor vehicles to record speed, drive time, and other information. Section 9101. It further requires the utilization of existing government laboratory facilities, Department of Defense, Justice, Energy, National Security Agency, CIA, FBI to develop technologies for federal law enforcement not limited to drug enforcement. Section 6163 and 7605. This would include night vision, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, ground sensor and communications electronics, Fort Mom, Jersey, physical electronic security, Hanscom Field, Massachusetts, imaging electronic surveillance, CIA and NSA, Washington, D.C., chemical biosensor research and development, Aberdeen, Maryland, chemical molecular research, Albuquerque, New Mexico, physical electronic surveillance and tracking, FBI, Washington, D.C., explosives, ordnance detection, Indian Head, Maryland. The Act calls for the expenditure of $120 million for the Bureau of Justice Statistics, a national clearinghouse of data from federal, state, and local criminal justice agencies. Section 6092. Grant money will be made available for state and local agencies to hook into the data system. Section 6101-1301. Gun sellers will have to check for a buyer's police record. Section 6213. The Act includes a special note from the Attorney General, include domestic violence information in the systems. Section 7609. My sources have informed me that the New World Order plans to execute any person who has exhibited any degree of violence during their life. A fist fight while in the service would qualify you. They believe that Section 7320, they believe that, sorry. They believe that violence is hereditary, and this could mean execution of family members as well. This act calls for a study of the feasibility of establishing an International Criminal Court, World Court, Section 4108. An International Criminal Court will have no jurisdiction or authority over any citizen of the United States of America unless we surrender over our sovereignty to the New World Order. No weapons are to be allowed in federal buildings. Up to 1 year imprisonment for carrying a weapon into any federal facility. The only exemption is a pocket knife, but only if the blade is less than 2.5 inches long, Section 6215. The Act has authorized postal authorities to serve warrants, subpoenas, make arrests, carry firearms, and make seizures in matters involving use of mails. Section 6251. The Post Office Department is a private corporation and is not a part of the federal government. How can they be allowed to function as federal police if they're not federalized? Are the post office employees destined to become a part of the National Police Force? It is not illegal to mail or send locksmithing equipment to anyone but a locksmith. Section 3002. Many common tools can be classified as locksmithing equipment. This act legalizes the arming of aircraft in other countries for defensive purposes. In drug control, Section 4202. Say again, if this had been in existence a few years ago, the Iran-Contra affair would have been legal, with only a statement that the arms were for defensive purposes in drug control. The Act mandates that military installments are to be used as mental treatment centers or prison camps with work programs, Section 7302 and 2081-561. Does this sound like Russia? In addition to $200 million will go for new prisons, Section 6157, plus proceeds from seized and forfeited property are to be used for construction of prisons, rewards for information or help, or for other things that the Attorney General need not report, Section 6072-924, Title 20-CIA, H. The Act states that prison industries may borrow and invest funds, Section 7093. Prison industries may diversify their products and produce products on an economic basis, Section 1096B. Provide a labor pool, Soviet Union style, if authorizes a study of the feasibility of requiring prisoners to pay their costs for food, housing, and shelter at paid employment before, during, or after imprisonment, Section 7301. In other words, it means imprisonment, Soviet style, presented in what sounds like a nice idea. A labor camp where men and women are worked to death is only that and nothing more or less, no matter what they call it or how attractive they make it sound. Prisons going into business to produce products on an economic basis can only serve to destroy the last remnants of small business. This law is 366 pages of small print. I am sure that as carefully as I could read it, I must have missed many other terrible clauses. Congressmen have been known to deny knowledge of this law, and some have stated that it does not exist because they are terrified of the public finding out what they have done. When I first warned the nation about this legislation on talk radio across the country, the government pulled all copies not already in public hands. The government states that there are no copies available and there will not be any copies available. This act is too large to include in this book. You will find it in your library, though, exactly as I have stated at the beginning of this chapter. Please look it up yourself to verify that it is indeed real. And these are the sources: Public Law 100 through 690, U.S. Congressional and Administrative News, Volume 3, 1988, with amendment and voting information in the Congressional Quarterly Almanac, Volume 1988. And that's 10. Y'all don't want me to start making stuff up. Public education in the United States. Okay. So we're going to stop right there. That was chapter 8. And those are 151 to 158. Okay. So we're going to stop right there. That was chapter 7. And I'll pick up on chapter 8. Peace and power. And I am out here.